Good morning, good evening, everyone. Today, me and my colleague Ritika will be talking about data lake consumption layer, which is powered by Presto. What was the motivation behind using Presto? And we'll be highlighting how we came across a pressing need of a distributed query service, and how we plan to efficiently run it in on-prem, GCP, and Azure. In the second half of this session, we'll be talking about cross-cloud query federation at Walmart. Moving on to the agenda for the day, I'll be starting by stating the diverse data stores that are present at Walmart. Then, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be talking about the motivation for a distributed query service, uh, which can enable federated query and do a level of data orchestration as well as we were launching ourselves into a multi-cloud journey. Then we'll talk about how and why we plan to use a multi-tenant offering instead of isolated Presto clusters. Post that, we'll be talking about security integrations we have developed in-house. Then Ritika will talk about a multi-cloud analytics solution, which lets you query data across clouds and on-premise. Moving on to the data stores at Walmart. So to begin with, what we have seen at Walmart, and that's no different in any other large enterprise, is that data is residing in lots of diverse data sources. So many that I don't think we could have highlighted all of them in this slide. The sole reason being there is no one-stop solution that can cater to all the different types of analytical workloads. We have seen pretty much every database in SQL or NoSQL technology that exists today and is being widely used at Walmart. There are systems such as Teradata, which is good for ultra low latency queries. There are teams which largely use Druid clusters for a time series analysis. And so every different data source has its own use case, and we therefore had no one-stop solution. So to provide agility to business, everyone tends to use different stores based on their use cases. The the point of sales data at Walmart still resides in Teradata. The Walmart stores team use different mainframe systems. So since the data is present in isolated data stores, the biggest pain point was to be able to create a semantic layer of data where data from different business units can be joined together to create a view of data which can unfold different business insights for different teams. Moving on to the motivation behind using Presto at Walmart. One of the biggest initiatives at Walmart was having a data lake cluster powered by Hadoop, where a data hub will be managed by HDFS, and that actually did a pretty good job to have multi-tenant large Hadoop clusters hosted in Walmart's on-prem data centers, which caters to different data stores and different business units. So from that point, people started to shift from having their individual business specific data marts to moving their data to a co-located Hadoop based data lake system. But after a point, even that started showing a problem of its own. The data lake cluster was good enough. There are a lot of execution engines that come bundled with the Hadoop cluster like Hive, Spark. All of these being a part of Hadoop itself to some degree benefited due to data locality. Uh, so that has been a plus point of the data lake cluster. The biggest challenge that was faced was to ingest the data since the source data is present in different systems. So getting data from mainframe or getting it from Teradata and writing and having complex ETL pipelines has been a challenge, and it introduced a level of latency as well. People needed to source and build different engineering pipelines to store their data into, and that continued to be a challenge because on-prem data lake cluster will always have a finite capacity and cannot be scaled out as and when needed. Secondly, though the cluster was multi-tenant, there was always constant pressure of catering to growing needs of compute capacity. And as we all know that how it is very difficult to scale an on-prem cluster. This was the biggest pain point of this access pattern. even after the presence of dedicated resource managers and queues, uh, they were always overwhelmed by the increasing data volume. And that is when we started looking into how uh, we can have a query engine layer which is not capped by the overall data lake cluster itself. And we started looking at Presto. We started with Presto as our on-prem solution, and then we extended it to GCP and Azure. We did an initial evaluation of how the OLAP queries are performing, and although Presto cluster was not part of the same Hadoop cluster, they were still performing significantly well. Some of which we also got benefited maybe due to the capacity issues that were there in on-prem. Uh, but we saw that Presto query response times were way better than Hive-LLAP and Spark SQL as well. Another thing that was very important for interactive analytics use cases is that business units did not want to source their data into the Hadoop cluster. So this is where they wanted a federated query capability. So these were some of the motivation factors where we saw Presto was very well fitting, and there as a distributed query engine, and also a framework which gives a level of abstraction between the compute and storage. So the idea behind having a multi-tenant query service offering rather than segregated isolated clusters was to enable multiple different teams to use it. We are part of a team which designs and develops reusable frameworks, which are then leveraged by multiple business units within Walmart, like merchandising, supply chain. So in addition to that, most of our platform offerings, be it on-prem or cloud, we tend to focus on providing a multi-tenant offering because Walmart operates in different geographies and we do not want to have poor resource utilization. And Presto already has support of resource groups to help us in this regard. Especially on cloud, if you have a good auto-scaling policy along with efficient usage of resource groups, then having a single multi-tenant cluster even beats ephemeral clusters. At Walmart, the different business units have been dealing with different databases and source systems. And one of the core features that we wanted to offer as part of our query service was a simplified query access layer. Now, what did we mean by simplified query access layer? So when we say that now you don't have to onboard your datasets to data lake, what we actually meant was that you just have to get onboarded to our query service, and there will be connectors already in place for all the different data sources. You can pick and choose any of your BI or query interface and start querying. The good part is that most of the business visualization tools from Tableau to Looker, all of them have a pretty simple native integration with Presto due to Presto being an ANSI SQL engine. So that worked out well, as most of our analysts were heavy users of BI tools. So at that time, when we started evaluating Presto, Walmart had already started a cloud journey on GCP, and that was a couple of years back. And we also checked with a couple of enterprise vendors of Presto, but at that time they weren't ready for GCP, and we had to have a presence in GCP. This is when we decided that we will maintain our own custom Presto distribution and add certain features to that. Definitely one of the most important requirements was good performance. We looked beyond Presto to see how we can improve performance. We looked into certain file system caching technologies like Elixir. Elixir certainly helped us in overcoming certain cases of unpredictable response times due to network latency, and helped in providing consistent query latency. We also saw better concurrency and higher throughput. Now, having a single multi-tenant cluster requires stringent authentication and authorization checks in place. We also implemented a finer role-based access control. Presto already supports various authentication mechanisms. So on-prem, we use the Kerberos-based authentication, and in GCP, and Azure as well, we used LDAP over HTTPS for authentication. So I'll be talking about the authorization along with other important security integration in the next slide. In addition to security, and the functional requirements, all the non-functional requirements like having robust alerting and monitoring in place and having dedicated resource queues for different domains was also taken into effect. So moving on to Presto security integrations. As I mentioned in the previous slide, having a multi-tenant cluster made it mandatory to have stringent authentication and authorization checks in place. We have already talked about authentication. Now let's come to authorization. So for the Hive catalog, there were no security plugins and most of our authorization policies are residing in Ranger. So we decided that we will implement our own custom Ranger security plugin, and we integrated that with the Hive catalog, and that worked pretty well for us. So if you see over here, this is a high level design of our security integration. That is the custom Ranger plugin that we had developed in-house. The plugin was an implementation of the connector access control interface in Presto. The plugin interacted with the Ranger server and Ranger endpoint and downloaded all the policies and cached it for a configurable amount of time. Whenever a query is triggered based on these Ranger policies, this plugin will reject or pass through the execution to the next stage. Now, Walmart being spread across multiple geographies, there are tables which will have data for multiple regions like US, Canada, UK. So there were multiple business domains who wanted to ensure analysts and business users are able to view their data for their regions only. To help them, we also added support for column masking and row level filtering in our Ranger plugin. Now Presto does support to run in impersonation mode for the Hive catalog, which is very critical when you are running in a multi-tenant cluster. You cannot configure the plugin with a single user or a service ID, as that would be compromising. And Presto does support HDFS impersonation. But there was one catch. When you also have a Kerberized Hive Metastore authentication, the Hive impersonation did not work. What this meant was, even if the configured service ID had the access to impersonate the logged in user, it would need explicit access on the datasets. To solve this, we added the support for Hive impersonation for Hive Metastore access calls as well. There are some domains which have highly sensitive data, even in the on-prem cluster, which are guarded by the HDFS encryption zones. Since these encryption zones work transparently for the other clients, we also evaluated that with Presto, and it was able to honor it as well with a good Ranger integration in place. Another critical thing to take care in a multi-tenant cluster is which users can access which catalogs, and in some cases even schemas or tables. So we made use of the system access control rules to restrict such access. There were business teams who had data sources which had multiple data sets, and they wanted to control access to each data set using Active Directory groups. To solve this, we added AD group support to the system access control. For GCP and Azure, due to having a multi-tenant cluster, we had configured our Hive catalog with a service account, which had read access to all the buckets. Now this can lead to sometimes lead to a security vulnerability in case a certain user gets hold of a storage location on which they don't have access, and use the query service to create external tables on top of these locations. In schemas, they have create privileges on. So to prevent such cases, we developed a custom plugin called Guardians of FS, which validated access for file system locations as well as the Ranger policies before allowing creation of such external tables. Okay, moving on to the next slide, that is on infrastructure orchestration. Walmart being a large enterprise, there are different domains using different data sources, which results in us receiving multiple requests for new catalogs. Since adding a new catalog requires config changes on all the nodes, and having an autoscaling cluster means changes in the worker image, which results in a new cluster deployment. To ensure zero downtime deployments in cases of new catalog additions or any new config changes, we introduced a HA proxy layer over the coordinator. Now, multiple tenants using the same cluster showed us that different tenants were running different kinds of workloads. we saw queries ranging from a few seconds to even 30 to 40 minutes. As our clusters were tuned to run primarily ad hoc interactive queries, there were instances when certain long-running complex aggregation workload uh, used to get killed due to the time limit, due to exceeding the time limit that we had set on the cluster. This is when we decided to come up with ephemeral cluster orchestration for ETL workloads with proper query guards and clusters optimized to run large ETL jobs. We configured the cluster in a way to reduce the concurrency by increasing the size of the reserve pool and reducing the size of the general pool to ensure that the query gets maximum resources to itself. We also enabled query guards so that no other user can trigger a query on this ephemeral cluster, and also ensured that the automated cluster was deleted as soon as the ETL workload gets completed. Now, by default, Presto does support configuring multiple Hive metastores in the Hive catalog, but this catch here is the secondary metastore is only used as a fallback when the primary metastore is down. We wanted to ensure that the load is balanced, for which we introduced a HA proxy layer over the metastores that we have. And due to this, we observed an increased fault tolerance and even better throughput. Now, in order to ensure a smooth user experience for the on-demand caching, we also developed custom Presto procedures to create and refresh Elixir tables on demand. Moving on to the monitoring, alerting. In terms of monitoring and alerting, Presto on its own already provides a lot of JMX metrics, which we tap into and also generate custom metrics of our own for Presto, as well as the other components in our stack with the help of custom clients. These metrics are pushed to native GCP monitoring solutions, such as Stackdriver. Now, based on the metrics that are pushed to Stackdriver and also the custom metrics, we had robust alerting in place with alerts on failed queries or surge in running queries or unavailability of any component and many more such alerts. We also have a custom Presto query latency tracker, which helps in identifying slowness in query execution by triggering synthetic queries in configurable time periods over the day. In addition to that, we also extensively make use of the query event statistics with the help of custom event listeners. This helps us to have an extremely low dependency on the logs. Due to a huge user base, we have a lot of events that get generated, and thus having an efficient way to make use of these stats was of utmost importance. So we came up with an archival strategy. We archive all event statistics that are older than a week to HDFS and only store the recent statistics in MySQL to ensure faster query response. With the help of these statistics, we enable each user to have a view of their usage through dashboards in Superset. Yeah, so this is all about Presto monitoring and alerting. So to highlight the key features of our distributed service, so we ensure that all of the data is put to work by giving users a solution where they can do federated query across multiple data sources. People from different teams are pretty happy now, including data engineers as well, that they don't have to learn different query languages native to different sources. Rather, they can just learn ANSI SQL and query any data source. We have also seen testimonials from various teams who have mentioned that they have received huge performance gain, sometimes in the ranges of 20x as they move to our service. Yeah, so this is all from my side. I would like to hand over to Ritika for talking about cross-cloud querying.
Yeah, thanks, Jalpreet.
Sure.
Can you stop sharing your screen? Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I'll be talking about how we enable cross-cloud querying capability in our cloud infrastructure and what all the different implementation that we had tried and how we improved upon those different implementation. And I'll also talk about what are the challenges that we have faced and how did we overcome those. So as Jalpreet already mentioned that we have a Presto offering across different clouds like GCP, Azure, and even on-prem. So cloud query, cross-cloud querying capability enables users to securely query and analyze the data from different types of storage like Google Cloud Storage, ADLS, or even from HDFS from a single place. Moving on to the motivation, like for us to look into this cross cloud querying capability. So our users have their data spread across different storage, and their data access is enabled for their respective storage or for even HDFS. Now we had Presto offering in different clouds and on-prem, and user had a way to access the data from respective Presto clusters. But there was no way to run query to different cloud storage from a particular Presto offering. So Presto was enabled. Presto was only enabled to query on top of their respective cloud storage, like GCP offering only to access the GCP data, likewise Azure for ADLS and on-prem for HDFS. So we got multiple requirements from the users where the user wanted to query data which is there in ADLS or in HDFS when they are basically using Presto cluster, which is there on GCP, which was a fair ask from someone who is using Presto because of like loose coupling of compute and storage of Presto, and because of query capable federation capability in Presto, where user don't really have to worry about where their data sits, and they can like query it from from a single Presto cluster without even bothering about the data. Users were looking for a way where they can basically join the data from ADLS and GCS and use a single Presto cluster, or like have a capability to basically join multiple storage data and do the analysis on the same, which was a very legitimate ask. So we already had network connectivity between different storage. Now we were looking for a way and the solution where we can enable a capability for our users to do a cross cloud query. So now we were taking our first step to enable the capability for running cross cloud query. So the simplest of all to solve this problem was through a Hive connector, which was a pretty straightforward solution, and we were very much sure that this would work as long as we have network connectivity from one cloud to another. So for this, we had created a Hive catalog on Presto clusters for different storage using like their respective Metastore connectivity, like the Metastore URIs. And using these Hive connectors, now user can query any other cloud storage from a particular Presto offering. And they can also basically run a federated query and like join the data from different storage. As we can see here, like this if there is, as I spoke about, from a GCP Presto cluster, we can have a Hive connector enabled to query HDFS data or the blob data or the GCS data, which will allow a single Presto cluster to query across any cloud. But as but in this case, like as the Hive connector is enabled on the base cluster, whenever user will fire any query, all the data will be pulled back to the base cluster. So all the data will be transferred over the network to the base cluster for further processing. So we had enabled this connector with multiple restriction because of the because there were possibility and there were chances that people are using it for maybe for very big table, or like scanning through a very big table, or doing any aggregation on a very big table. So we had multiple restriction enabled, like partitions, like limited partition scan in a query, maximum execution, like query execution time, etc. So this approach worked well for us to solve our problem, but this has its own challenges and overheads. Like there will be high network data transfer when user tries to query any table, like any big table across the cloud. And because of the high network data transfer, this will result in high ingress or egress cost while they are querying, while user is firing any querying across the cloud or even on our on-prem cluster, on-prem storage. So these were some of the challenges that had led us to basically enable a restriction on this particular connector and enable this as a first step for our users to basically doing a cross cloud query capability. So here, this is an example with some resource summary stats when we used GCP Presto cluster as a base cluster, and we have enabled uh, SDFS storage access through Hive connector in the GCP Presto cluster. This this query was run on basically this example query was run on TPCH SF100 dataset to just calculate the revenue over a year duration. But as you can check from the resource summary stats, with this query execution, data which was pulled to GCP Presto cluster over the network was around 18 GB, and which was close to around 600 million rows. And this query was executed in and around 40 seconds. But as the data will increase in this particular case and user will try to compute these type of perform these type of aggregation on the tables, as the data size will increase, this will add us like more network overhead, and which will eventually affect the query execution time as well. So this was our this was our first approach that we had gone through as an initial step. So to overcome the challenges that we had seen earlier, like while querying cross clouds, we were looking for an approach which can help us in minimizing the network data transfer, which would eventually help us in handling other cost and performance metrics. Now we were looking for a way where we don't really want to transfer the full data which is being queried from a Presto cluster. This is where we had come up with a thought of building altogether a new connector which will allow us to connect one Presto cluster to another Presto cluster. So as I already spoke about that, we had Presto clusters in all the different basically clouds and on-prem. So our idea was to have a capability where we fire a query to any remote Presto cluster using a Presto to Presto connector, and then only results are pulled back to the base Presto cluster. This way, most of the processing would happen on the remote cluster, and only result sets are transferred back to the base Presto cluster. With this Presto to Presto connector, we have enabled secure data access. Using this connector, in terms of security, all the authentication would take place on the base cluster, and all the authorization checks on the data that would happen on the remote cluster as user is trying to access the data which is on the remote storage. This with this connector, we were able to save on our data ingress and egress cost, as we will reduce the the data transfer over the network, and user can basically run analytics related query on the cross cloud, and user can also run some of the they can run the federated query across the cloud, and they can either do joins or maybe create a semantic views while basically joining the data from two different cloud storage. So so in this case, we have three Presto cluster which are in different in GCP, Azure, and on-prem, and we had connected all the three clusters with other two through Presto to Presto connector. And suppose user is querying the data, like user is querying the data through GCP Presto, they will be having access to the GCP native storage, and using Presto to Presto connector, they can even fire a query for the data which is residing on ADLS or on HDFS using through like by querying it through GCP Presto cluster itself. So let's move on to the implementation challenges that we have faced, like after building this Presto to Presto connector. So when we built this Presto to Presto connector, we had some like multiple implementation challenges. As an initial part of development of this connector, the connector is developed on top of Presto base JDBC connector. As it is built on base JDBC, it had limited push down support. And the full table scan would happen whenever like we try to like query multiple tables or a single table using this connector. Because of being a single threaded JDBC based connector, it degrades the performance of query execution on the table when anyone is using this particular connector. So all these were like affecting our performance for this connector. We were not really satisfied with the stats with respect to the performance, which we have seen was degraded approx 10 times when people were directly connecting any cross clouds using Hive connector. So to overcome these challenges, we had added support for create, select, and drop views in this particular Presto to Presto connector. So by enabling views in this connector, the views has helped us in achieving the aggregate, predicate, and the limit push down on the query, and which has basically resulted us in better query execution performance. So to give our user a best experience with this connector, we had exposed this connector only with the view support and the operations. All the other SQL operations are disabled in this particular connector. So next we will see like how people really use this particular Presto to Presto connector. So this is an example with some resource summary stats when we used GCP cluster as our base cluster, and we connected our on-prem cluster, which basically has HDFS storage, which we connected through the Presto to Presto connector from the GCP. So here, as discussed earlier, we had enabled this connector only with the views. So here, in this case, we are again running the query on SF100 dataset to calculate basically the revenue over an year. So first, to use this Presto to Presto connector, user has to create a view, a view for the same query which they want to execute on the remote cluster. So they can create a basically view from the base cluster itself, and this view will be created on the remote cluster. Once they have the view created, now they will be able to query the view directly. And once they query the view, what will happen in this case, like if you see in the resource utilization summary, the first stats is from the remote cluster, which is again our on-prem cluster. So here, as you can see, this cluster has done the all of the processing for around 18 GB of data and around 600 million rows, and this has basically computed the results. And the second stat is for basically the GCP cluster. So when this query was executed on the remote cluster, only one row was basically resulted back as a part of this query, and which was basically transferred to the base cluster. And GCP cluster now only has one row to process. And in this scenario, like we reduce the data transfer over the network, and basically the all the processing was done on the remote cluster, and only the result set which was pulled back to the base cluster. So this same query, this query was executed in and around like 15 seconds of like average time when we executed it from our GCP cluster. So we have taken some of the benchmarks for both the approaches that we had discussed earlier. Like one was the Hive connector versus Presto to Presto connectors. All these benchmarks were taken on TPCS data on a scale factor of 100. So here the base connector for both the cases, we have taken GCP Presto cluster, and we have taken the benchmarks for executing a query on HDFS data. So by that mean, when we will use Hive connector, we will directly connect to the HDFS storage from GCP. And in the Presto to Presto connector, we will make use of on-prem Presto cluster to connect to HDFS. So we have taken benchmarks on 10 different types of TPCH queries for both the connectors, and these 10 types of query mainly includes the aggregation queries and some multi-table join queries, which basically has most of the processing being done on the remote cluster, and only filtered data needs to pull back on the base cluster. So that's why as a result, like in a benchmark, it is clear that average execution time for the query when they ran from Presto to Presto connector was lesser than when they were directly ran through the Hive connector. And the reason was like pretty obvious, because for all those queries, the data when we use Hive connector, all the data has to be pulled back, and like the processing has to be done after pulling back the data on the base cluster. But with on the other side, with the Presto to Presto connector, these queries were mainly executing on the remote cluster and only resulting back the filtered data. So this with there has been like good adoption for this connector among our users here in Walmart, like who may like who mainly runs the query load, like which mainly want to basically run the federated query with the cross any cross cloud storage, but they don't really want to transfer much of the data over the network. So they can pretty like they can use this Presto to Presto connector over that use case. So uh, I would like to highlight some of the points over here about the cross cloud query. So this basically enabled us with the cross cloud query. We have like enabled access for multiple storage location in a single place. And for our cloud orchestration, we had basically got two good candidate for adopting we had two candidate option for doing any cross cloud query, and both of them works well as per the user's query execution use case. Though it is difficult to choose the right connector for the queries, but as per our observation and different use cases, remote query like remote Hive connector works well when you want to run a query without applying much filters on the original data, and when you are running a federated query on a raw data which is present on the any different cloud or on the HDFS. But Presto to Presto connector will fit well for any aggregation related query, or for the queries where most of the processing and filtering on the data can be done on the other Presto cluster, so that you can save the time like on the processing, and you can basically save the data which is getting transferred back to the uh, base cluster. And uh, basically after getting back the data, you can do the further analytics on your basically the results as which are pulled back to the base cluster. Yeah, so this was it from my side about cross cloud querying. We are open for questions now.
Fantastic, guys. Great, really great session. A lot of great content in there. A couple of questions to get us started. Folks, if you have questions, now is a great time to start sending them in. We are Q&A panel. So the first question is, how do you optimize uptime by avoiding Presto restarts? For example, when adding, changing connector catalog properties, things like that. So maybe Jalpreet, or since you talked about it initially,
Yeah.
question for you.
Sure. So as I had mentioned regarding the HA proxy layer over the coordinator, so usually what we do is we have a second cluster that we deploy, and we modify the properties in that cluster. Once the cluster is ready, we will change the mapping in the HA proxy and point it to the new cluster. The only catch over here is that it may lead to certain query failures for BI tool integrations for some queries which are long running, but we try to ensure that the load on the cluster is low when we try to change the mapping for the cluster. Yeah.
Great, thank you, Jalpreet. A question about the federation part of your presentation, Ritika. So you talked about a Hive connector approach. You talked about the Presto to Presto connector. Some users are using an approach of basically aggregating their data or having a buffer gateway at each cloud where they pull in data. So you don't really have egress costs, but you can still do joins on that data. Did you consider that approach, and how would it compare with other approaches?
So as I already mentioned, right? So we have been using those two approaches, like the direct remote Hive connector and the Presto to Presto connector. So when it comes to the the egress cost and writing back the data, definitely the either you use the Presto to Presto connector or the Hive connector. That is something you cannot really that is something you cannot really lower, as we cannot really reduce that cost at this particular time, either with the Hive connector directly or using the Presto to Presto connector. And on top of it, like the Presto to Presto connector, we don't really enable any the write back operations from that particular connector. We only enable it only enable it as of now only to query the data, not really to write any data. So mainly the Hive connector is the only approach that we are as of now giving to our users to write back the data, and that's the only approach that they are using right now.
Great. A couple more questions on the same topic. So I think it might be a repetition, but let's bring this up as well. So Ravi asks, please elaborate on the node transfer data while you use Presto to Presto. Assume I'm on GCP. I want to connect to Azure and on-prem for a join. Then there will be some data transfer involved as joins are happening on the Presto cluster. So maybe you can just share again what part of the query is executing on the primary GCP cluster, what part of the query gets pushed down, and the cardinality, and how the cardinality of the the predicates affects this the data transfers.
Okay, so that's a perfectly legitimate question. So as I mentioned earlier, so when I say when you say the join queries, so in the join queries, Presto to Presto connector would really help you when you basically you have to, first of all, you have to create the view on the remote clusters, like the respective. Suppose you are on as in your question you have mentioned, suppose you are on GCP and you are basically joining the data from GCP and ADLS. So what you have to do is you have to basically have your query and the view created on the remote cluster in such a way that you already filter some data over there and you do all the processing over there, and you only pulled back the, like whatever the result set you're pulling back, that is the filtered one, and you are doing a join from that data to your base GCP data. So in this case, like I wouldn't say no transfer of the data, but in this case you will have limited like transfer of the data over the like network, because you have already done all the filtered and the push down whichever you wanted to do on your remote data, and you are having only the limited results back to your base cluster, and then you are doing the join on your base cluster, which is in this case for US GCP. So I hope I answered your questions.
Great, thank you. And then one last question, a continuation on that topic from Alec. What are the pros and cons of using these approaches when the raw data is stored in cloud storage, such as S3 instead of HDFS?
Okay.
And I think you've kind of answered, but maybe elaborate a little bit more. Yeah.
Yes, sure. So I would say it doesn't really like, it won't really matter whether your data is in HDFS or is in like S3 or any other cloud. So the approach, the main approach would be same, that for the Hive connector, again, like you will have the direct connection on those storage, and when you don't really have any Presto connector, you have only the first approach to basically do a cross cloud query or accessing any cross cloud data. You don't really have the Presto to Presto connector approach to use. But yeah, again, if you have the Presto cluster on your other offering as well, then Presto to Presto connector would like fit you well when basically when again I may be repeating the same point, but yeah, again it would fit well for you when you want to, like, you have your query and you can do your most of the processing on your other cluster, like you don't really want to pull back the data. So this, for the second approach, I would say the first thing is you should have your offering in other clouds. If you don't really have it, you have only one option to connect to other storage, which is Hive connector directly. But yeah, again, you will have challenges with those. But yeah, if you have your Presto offering in other clouds, with your like on top of that, you have to check on your use cases, and then probably you can make use of this Presto to Presto connector.